Anyway, maybe I'm tilting at windmills. What's going on in the sky, Mayor? Let's talk about your world for the next 10 days, huh? I like this old banner. That's what you call it. This thing was off of that was back when I was in print over 20 years ago. This was the top piece on an astrology column that I wrote weekly. It was a tourist thing too. I really like the Earth astrologer. I need to do more of that. Let's find out what's going on. Where are we at on the time track, huh? The sun has gone into Scorpio. Oh, I guess that's why I'm dealing with all these Scorpio characters. Secret. Oh, all the black corporations, all the people who are secret. And I mean, we put an awful lot of our tax money into folks doing this, whose job is to terrorize us. I don't know. Think about it. You got a week while the sun's in Scorpio. New information's going to come out. I'm just going to run the moon around this pattern of planets here and see what happens as it makes angles to various things. But right off, when the sun goes into Scorpio, it trines Neptune. Neptune are the privileged people, the oil barons, the drug, companies. Yes, those Republicans with their pockets full of money. I call them priest, artist, doctor, musicians. But the sun, most of us feel like, oh, it's okay if let the natural gas people get the tax break. Gosh, are you kidding? The natural gas people are telling you it's okay to burn natural gas. And it's no damn different than burning diesel or gasoline or whatever. It takes so much carbon to get you so much, natural gas is not the answer to global warming. It's just a happy trip for a bunch of oil company people. But I guess a lot of our politicians think they're doing good. Now the sun is about to go by Saturn, huh? In about 10 days, the sun will be on Saturn here in Scorpio. It's going to trine Jupiter, and normally this means Republicans and Democrats make some deals and try to get along, conservatives and progressives. But what I see is that they're behaving on the large scale just like the guys on the small scale. Stay behind my desk, stay out of trouble, don't make waves, I got to keep my government paycheck, and that's what's going on. Do as little as possible. If somebody shakes you up, scare them a little bit. Okay. Anyway, deals are being made here, and they're not necessarily in the favor of the people. Here's the moon running around the edge of the chart, and if you're watching the Thursday show, well, you're in the zap zone, huh? No wonder your astrologer is acting up, because on Thursday, here was the new moon opposing Uranus, and everything squared it. If you think over these things I'm talking about, later on tonight, the trine to Saturn happens, maybe some good sense will come through, and you'll be talking about it Friday morning. And then Friday here, on the 25th, the moon's still in Cancer, and it goes by Jupiter. Hooray, everybody going to laugh and have fun. But I'll tell you, Thursday you're in the electric zap zone. There's quakes, and there's all this stuff making you feel alone. So I don't know what you're celebrating for Friday, but look out. You might be celebrating the wrong thing. On Saturday, October 26th, the moon moves into Leo, squares the sun. What am I doing? What did I do? I can't make a plan. Hard to get things done when the moon squares the sun. About midnight, there's a trine to Uranus, and the higher mind comes in. Do what everybody else wants you to do. Well, you can't always do that, can you? Hey, what happened to the environment? Republicans and Democrats are arguing over foolishness that they make themselves. They should stop the pot war, get everybody out of jail. They should deal with the environment. They should deal with the loss of middle class. They should be doing some job and supporting people instead of bickering. It's smokescreen, that's what it is. And you'll be ticked off about it Sunday. Sunday morning, the moon squares Saturn. In the afternoon, it squares Mercury. Bad talk. What are these guys doing? How come they're wasting our money like this and they're not doing the job they're supposed to? I don't know. Seems like it's the same every year. Monday, moon's still in Leo when you get up. There is a nice trine to Venus. You might want to stay in bed late and luxuriate a little bit. There's some sweets there. It changes after dinner. The moon moves into Virgo Monday night, the 28th. And when it does, things get strange. There's an opposition to Neptune. And Mars is here. Mars, Tuesday morning is opposing Neptune. Fires and fights. Oh boy. Did he say fights? Yep. And injuries. Because Mars is much too close to the opposition to Neptune. I mean, Neptune's here at midnight, Monday night. And the opposition there is don't drink alcohol. And be careful with drugs and liquids in general. And in being too idealistic. Your idealism or your religious values or something could get challenged Tuesday morning when the moon goes by Mars. It's sextile the sun. A lot of men think, they know what they're doing here Tuesday. And it's physical stuff. There's a trine to Pluto also Tuesday afternoon. And it seems like the deal is done. And then Tuesday night, here's a sextile to Mercury. It's talked out. Might sign the agreements. Saturn comes along too after dinner, along with Mercury, and says, "Hey, make this contract and freeze this into cement." And something is happening here. It's all happening in Virgo. I hope there's a health component to it someplace. But the action is certainly on Tuesday. Wednesday almost looks like a day not to do much because there's a square to old Mercury here. Well, that's not Mercury. That's Venus. It's a day of being lazy on October 30th. Happens after, in the afternoon and into dinner time. And, eat light. The less you eat, the better. Ben Franklin said he'd never seen a man die of starvation, but he's seen hundreds, thousands die of too much food. Well, Thursday, the whole scene changes. The moon's gone into Libra. It's October 31st. You're in the shaky zone. Thursday night, the moon opposes Uranus. Now, this is where the new moon was. Remember, there was a new moon at 11 degrees of Libra. It opposed Uranus. Nobody likes the media. I found out the Postal Service delayed a lot of my DVDs getting onto the internet because I sent it to the mainland, and it turns out if you address an envelope in pencil, the computer doesn't read it and it kicks it out, and it has to be done by hand, which takes 2-3 weeks. Yes. The other thing is, put your stamps right in a row. Like I put some stamps, I had a whole row of them, and so I dribbled the line down a little bit, envelope. And if the stamps aren't all in a row, the computer can't read it, kicks it out, back into the pile where it has to be done by hand. 3 weeks later, it might get done if you're lucky. So, yes, they're selective. It's all going through computers. So I use pen now, black ink pen. And I dress my stamps, and we'll see what happens. But here's glitch. Here's this new moon. Here's all the pent-up anger you've got against, the crummy newspaper they give us in Kona, the right-wing propaganda machines that you get in Hilo and Kona, and their so-called green paper. I mean, same corporation doing all this stuff, trying to brainwash us. And it looks like they're going to move the big NSA office up to Poakaloa. I mean, they built a $1 zillion road. Got to find some use for it. Eek! It's a DOD. It's the snoopers. It's a jittery Thursday afternoon and evening. And it's a time when you could get earthquakes. In fact, it's the peak of the last quakey time and the last twirly time for hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes, and I think it should mellow out after that. However, as you go into Friday, November 1st, the moon's still in Libra, and here's what is that? Oh, that's a square to Jupiter. That's just a whole bunch of rain and overdoing things. Yeah, Friday. But look at there. There's Venus. There's a sextile to Venus, and it's Friday night. Friday is Venus's day. It's named after Freya, the Norse god of love and sex and the beautiful diva. That's Freya. That's where your Friday comes from. So Friday night's a good time to be with someone you love. No question. Saturday, stay in bed just a little bit. The moon will be in Scorpio when you get up. You're headed towards a new moon. And by golly, you're on the North Node, and you've got good angles to Neptune. You're inspired. You know, you got good angles to... A lot of the planets here are piled up. That kind of looks pretty good. The new moon will be here. And... maybe I better take a look at it. Because there is a nice Mars sextile. And there's a lot of physical action going on here. And good talk, and everybody thinks that they've got it together because Saturn and Mars and Neptune and the Sun are all there together having a big meeting. Oh yes, let's do this. Of course, they're going to leave out you know who, your environment, the people, the unions, etc. You know, pump up the military, my goodness. We spend more on our military than the whole rest of the world put together. What's that about? I don't know. Doesn't do any good to grouse. I'll just pick a little battle someplace and fight it out and see what happens. That's what you all have to do. Just pick